Hello everyone and welcome back to Brain Blitz Audios. Today we're excited to kick off a new segment titled GRE Prep, where we will be looking at sample questions as well as previous year questions from the GRE examination. Now, what is GRE? It stands for Graduate Record Examination, and this is an examination that is used globally in graduate, business, and law programs. It is conducted by an organization called ETS and is made up of 3 sections: verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and analytical writing. It takes exactly 1 hour and 58 minutes to complete. So today, let's look at some questions which are related to the segment of verbal reasoning in the GRE exam. Let's start off with our first question. Now, before we start off, all of the questions today follow a structure called sentence equivalence, and this is the instruction that has been given for that particular kind of question. Each of the following questions includes a sentence with a blank indicating that something has been omitted. Following the sentence will be a list of 6 words or phrases, each of which could be used to complete the sentence. Select the 2 answer choices that, when substituted for the blank, fit the context and produce the 2 sentences most nearly alike in meaning. So for this particular type of question, we need to find out 2 answers that can be correct. Now that we've understood what the rules are, let's start off with our first question. The sentence goes, in the long run, high technology communications cannot blank more traditional face-to-face family togetherness in Miss Aspinall's view. So in this particular question, we're talking about the fact that high technology communications cannot replace. So the context here is that high-tech communications cannot replace traditional face-to-face family togetherness. So we need to find the 2 words from the given options that mean replace. So we have 6 options. Our first option is supersede, which of course has connotations which mean replace. Supersede is basically something is so much better than its alternative that it replaces it. So of course we can use supersede as an answer to this question. The second option is compromise. Now, compromise in basic terms means yield to something. So imagine there is a discussion, and in order to save face or to ensure amicability, you yield to something that the other party has said. That's basically a compromise. So option B is something that cannot be used in the context of replacement. Option C is ameliorate. Ameliorate in simple terms means to improve something. So therefore, if we used ameliorate, then that would mean high technology communications will improve face-to-face family togetherness, which is nonsensical. Let's look at option D, approximate. So again, this is to estimate or to find out the most likely value of something, even though it's not the exact term. Again, something that cannot be used in this particular context. So option D is incorrect. Option E, supplant, is again one of the synonyms of replace. And since here we're talking about how high technology communications cannot replace face-to-face family meetings, option E, supplant, is also one of the 2 correct options. And finally, we have F, entertain. Of course, this means to make something enjoyable, so that is out of context. So option F is also incorrect. So to summarize, this particular question has the context that high technology communications cannot replace traditional face-to-face family togetherness. We need to define words in the options that have meanings similar to the word replace. So in this particular question, options A, supersede, and option E, supplant, do mean the word replace. So therefore options A and E turn out to be the right option. Let's look at the next question. Now this one says, a restaurant's menu is generally reflected in its decor. However, despite this restaurant's dash appearance, it is pedestrian in the menu it offers. So in order to unlock the context of this particular question, we need to understand what pedestrian means. Now pedestrian, the word, can be used in settings that mean ordinary or dull. So basically we need to find a word that fills the blank, which means the opposite of pedestrian. So which means something that's not ordinary or dull. So we have 6 options to choose from again. Option A, tawdry, actually means cheap. So of course it's actually a synonym of pedestrian, so that cannot work. Option B, elegant, means attractive, which is of course the opposite of dull. So option B, elegant, can be used in terms of the restaurant's appearance. Option C, conventional, that of course means ordinary or according to convention, so it cannot be used to describe the restaurant's appearance. Option D, modern, stands for current or new. So again, while it does signify newness, it does not always mean elegance or attractiveness. So something can be modern but still dull or ordinary. So option D is incorrect. Option E is traditional. So this again refers to old, historical, cultural, etc. Again, which does not automatically translate to elegance or attractiveness. So option E cannot be used. Option F, chic, is one of the synonyms of elegant. So of course we can use elegant and chic as, modifiers for the restaurant's appearance. So options B and F turn out to be the right answer for this particular question. In order to unlock the context, we needed to find out the meaning of pedestrian, which means ordinary or dull, and we needed to find the opposite words for ordinary and dull, which in this case are elegant and chic. Let's move on to the next question. While in many ways their personalities could not have been more different, she was ebullient where he was glum, relaxed where he was awkward, garrulous where he was blank, they were surprisingly well suited. So again, we're talking about 2 personalities. One person was ebullient, relaxed and garrulous. The other person was glum, awkward and blank. So basically we need to find the opposite of garrulous, which of course means we would need to understand what garrulous means. Now garrulous in the English language means talkative, rambling, etc. So someone who likes to talk a lot, likes to ramble a lot, is what garrulous means. So basically we need to find a word that signifies the opposite of talkative and rambling. So we have 6 options again. Option A, munificent, translates to generous. So someone is generous with spending something or with hosting someone, that person can be called munificent. So again, that does not work in this particular setting. Fastidious, the term fastidious means meticulous. So someone who is detail oriented, who has good attention to detail, that of course is again not something that can be used in this particular setting. Option C is solicitous, and which again translates to attentive. So if you're attentive to someone, if you take care of someone, that means you're solicitous, but that does not equate to being the opposite of talkative. So option C is incorrect. Option D, resolute, translates to purposeful. Someone who has purpose, someone who is determined about something, which again does not equal to become an opposite of talkative or rambling, so option D is incorrect. Option E is laconic. Laconic is a person who is brief in their speech and uses few words. So in this case we know that the word laconic is in fact an antonym or the opposite word to garrulous, so option E is correct. And finally, option F, we have taciturn. Now we know that 4 options are incorrect, 1 is correct, so of course option F has to be correct. The term taciturn means reserved and quiet, which perfectly describes the person in the setting. So option F, taciturn, is also one of the correct answers. So E and F turn out to be the right answers for this question. Next question. Even in this business, where dash is part of everyday life, a talent for lying is not something usually found on one's resume. So we're talking about a business or industry where the author says that lying is important. However, even then, lying is something that's usually not found on one's resume. So basically we need to find a noun which is related to the term lying. That's basically the context of this particular question. We have 6 options. Option A is mendacity, and it turns out mendacity refers to the tendency of someone or a group of people to lie. So therefore mendacity is the right option. Next we have aspiration. Now aspiration again refers to desire, ambition to move forward, to achieve something. Of course that does not automatically translate to lying, so option B is incorrect. Next we have insensitivity. So someone who is rude or unsympathetic is said to have showcased insensitivity, so therefore again that does not automatically mean lying, so option C is incorrect. Baseness is our next term, and it translates to dishonor and immorality. So basically you can talk about base desires, so desires that are very low in terms of honor or respect. That's what baseness means. So option D again is incorrect. Option C is avarice, which translates to greed and material desire. So if someone is desirous of money or other worldly things, then he is said to have exhibited avarice. So again, something that is not directly related to lying, so option E is incorrect. Option F is prevarication. That's the only option left, and we know that mendacity is correct. The other options were incorrect, so F has to be right. But if we look at the word meaning, then again prevarication does refer to lying, being evasive, misleading someone, which of course are close synonyms to lying. So in this particular question, where we needed to find a noun that means to lie or to want to lie, then we have option A, mendacity, that is tendency to lie, and prevarication, where someone does actions that are evasive or misleading. We can therefore conclude that options A and F turn out to be the right option. Now let's look at the final question for today. International financial issues are typically blanked by the United States, the media in the United States, because they are too technical to make snappy headlines and too inaccessible to people who lack a background in economics. So if we look at the rest of the sentence, it says too technical to make snappy headlines, too inaccessible to people who lack a background in economics. So because of these issues, financial issues, say such as global inflation, etc., are usually not highlighted. So what the author says here is that financial issues internationally are not highlighted as much as other issues because of the following reasons. So the context here is to find words that mean not highlighted. So let's look at option A. Option A is overrated, which is obviously an antonym, because something that is overrated is praised more than it should. Next we have slighted. Now slighted can mean offended or disrespectful, but it also means something that is not focused, which in this case can be applied to the question, because international financial issues are not highlighted, they're not focused enough. So therefore option B, slighted, turns out to be correct. Next, option C is hidden, which of course means implicit or not seen. Now while this could be correct, the fact that you cannot hide a news story in another news story means that this is actually considered less correct than slighted. So option C is incorrect. Then we have criticized, then of course where we talk about the shortcomings or negative aspects of something, but of course they are being publicized. So even if you have, say, high inflation, if it is mentioned that the inflation in this particular country is high, then there is a financial issue that's typically being highlighted. So criticized is not the word that we are looking for, so option D is incorrect. Option E says repudiated. Repudiated means rejected or disowned. So if we use repudiated, then that means the United States media will not publish international financial issues because of the fact that they're too technical or too inaccessible. But that is not true. So while they do talk about it, the fact is that they're not highlighted as often as other issues. So repudiated would not be the correct meaning that we're looking for the blank. Finally, we have neglected, which again means something that does not have enough attention. So of course, neglected and slighted are the terms that we can use to fill in the blank for this particular question. So options B and F turn out to be the correct options for this particular question. That's all for today's video. I hope you found this video interesting and informative. For more such content, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel Brain Blitz Audios, and please don't forget to give your feedback regarding GRE Prep or any of the other educational content that we have uploaded to this channel. Again, if you want to get the latest updates from our channel, then please don't forget to hit the bell icon present below the video. Until the next episode, take care, stay safe, ta-ta for now.